So my relationship to nature is really, I guess, comes from childhood and growing up in the New Forest near Southampton, which is where my parents had me. And I just was kind of one of those kids that just played in the woods, and I was lucky enough to, I'm the baby of 4 kids, so I was pretty much left to my own devices. So one of my biggest memories really would be just wandering around on my own. So nice to be that free. I get very frightened when I see a kid in reins when they're not allowed to be free. So mine's really just a personal interaction. So what I've learnt about being in contact with nature as I've grown older, and my experiences have been I've, as a young child could roam free. Now I get to travel and spend time in nature and in often really beautiful and wonderful environments that you can't believe you're there. And I went to Antarctica, and the first time I went to Antarctica, I was so touched by the scenery. When I left, I cried. And I cried because I couldn't believe I'd seen it. But my friend said the most beautiful thing to me, that my DNA was there, and it was and it was also in me, that I breathed it. I breathed out and I'd breathed in. So I had that just connection there with the earth, with a mountain, with a tree. That's what's important to me.
Are there differences in terms of gender in your line of work, and how do you collaborate? How do you navigate those gender differences?
Mm-hmm. So in my work, there are, there's quite a gender bias towards the male, because I think historically it's been that men kind of work in that area. I think it's financially a privileged area for people to have grown up to work in, and I call it the posh boys club. That's generally what it seems to be, men that have had opportunities when they were younger to maybe be in certain countries, and therefore have joined with their friends and stuck together in work. So that's the area that I have chosen to work in, and I try to squeeze my way in between the boys and get opportunities where I can. I think there is a very strong gender bias towards men, and slowly that's changing, but it's glacial. I mean, it's such a slow change that I feel one of my responsibilities, is to be visible. That if I can show a young girl at school that when it just even see you in a moment, even in a fleeting moment, to see a woman working, for them it's enough that they're like, I can do that. So that's a responsibility. I feel that I can at least show that there is a career path. What I'd like to see more of is just diversity in all areas. And I quite often say, if you want to make a program slightly different, then have another viewpoint on it. A female viewpoint, a person of color, just any other than is what is happening. And what's happened for a long time is pretty much the straight white male. That's who's putting these images into people's homes. And I think that's long overdue a change. I think it's going to be long until it is changed. And I think just if we can just push that as much as we can, that there would be diversity in the behind the scenes, in the behind the camera people, then different stories may be told. And people don't really realize it, but there are different, I think men and women are different. And you grow up with, different experiences. And that comes through in the subtle, even framing, or something may come through.